If you have been considering moving to Florida in 2022, you will want to watch this video. Today we're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of living in Florida in 2022. There's a lot of videos out there talking about this. However, I wanted to make it a little bit different. I wanted to put different pros and different cons that I haven't seen or haven't heard yet in other videos or articles online. So anyway, if you're thinking about moving to Florida, you will want to stick around to the end so you have a better idea what are the pros and what are the cons of living down here. Anyway, let's not waste any more time and let's get started with the video right now. Welcome everyone to me and my channel. I make videos all about relocating to Miami, living in South Florida, what are the best neighborhoods, cost of living, things that you should know, tips, tricks, and everything you want to know about living, relocating, and investing down here. So if you do like what you see, please consider subscribing. I come out with videos every single week talking about topics just like this one. So don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you do like the video, and don't forget to click on the bell button so you do get notified when I come out with the next video. And if you're thinking about moving down here, I am a licensed real estate agent down here in Miami. I'll be more than happy to help you. We can set up a Zoom call, WhatsApp, you can email me, text me, you have my number on the screen and also in the description below. I'll be more than happy to help you and get you settled down here. Anyway, let's get moving. Let's talk about the pros and cons of living in Florida in 2022. The first thing I want to talk about, which is a pro, is gonna be the people. The people that live down here. I haven't seen this in any videos or any articles. Me personally, that's one of the things I love about Florida is the people. Depends the area that you are in Florida. There are some areas that have different diversity of people and cultures. In other areas, of course, Miami is gonna have the most diversity compared to maybe up north in Pensacola or Destin Beach, right? Which are also amazing places. But the thing that I do love about Florida is that you do have so much different cultures, right? So wherever you are in Florida, especially living in the South Florida, or even in the West Coast Florida, even in Central Florida, right? There's so much diversity of people, right? For example, Miami is about 70% Latin. So you have people from every single country in South America and in Central America, which is an awesome thing. You also have a lot of Europeans, you have Asians, Middle Eastern, you have every single culture. I really, really love that. If you go to Orlando, you will find the same, maybe not as much, but the same in the West Coast of Florida as well, in Sarasota and in Fort Myers and St. Petersburg and all of these areas. You have a lot of diversity of culture. So the people, in my opinion, that live in Florida, I think they're very friendly. I think it's an awesome place to live. And again, it's not just one culture or one type of people that live there like many other cities. Here you have that diversity, and that's something that I love and definitely is a pro about living down here in Florida. A con about living here in Florida is gonna be that there's no 4 seasons. So if you already live in a place where you have 4 seasons, throughout the year, that's a really cool thing. I think it's beautiful. I love it. I'm from Argentina. Up there we do have the 4 seasons: winter, we have summer, spring, and fall. Right? So the plants change, nature changes, the weather changes. Right? So you're gonna have those every few months. You have that change, which is something I love. Down here in South Florida, again, actually, this is very tricky because there's some areas of Florida that get, much colder, like the north areas of Florida get much colder than, of course, in the South Florida, right, like Miami. But however, like in Miami, pretty much there's no 4 seasons, right? It's hot all year round. We do have a winter. A few days it might get a little bit cold. The weather is beautiful during those 4 or 5 months of winter. However, it's still hot. It's still hot. I'm used to it. I love it. I have no problem. But definitely it's a con, right? Because it's not very noticeable, the spring, the fall, the winter. But pretty much it's definitely a con if you're into the season. A pro about living in Florida, as you already know, everyone talks about this, and I'm sure it's the main thing that you know is gonna be the weather. Of course, the weather is amazing. Around 250 days out of the year, it's sunny, it's beautiful, especially in the South Florida area or the Orlando area. Again, up north, I've never lived up north in the Florida area. However, my brother has lived in Pensacola and Destin Beach, which is it's like northwest. And there the weather is pretty much similar, right? It's hot all year round. Again, the winters do get a little bit colder. It's beautiful weather all year round, right? So pretty much you do have the con of of not having the 4 seasons. However, it is amazing weather. That's why so much people come down. I mean, again, I live in Miami. Every day I wake up and almost all year round, literally almost all year round, I can wake up and just have beautiful skies. The sun is out, there's like almost no clouds. It's just a beautiful day every single day. Like those beautiful Sundays, well, down here, honestly, almost every Sunday is just gorgeous. It's just perfect. It never rains. It's just a beautiful day to go to the beach or go hang out, go take a boat or do something outdoors. So that's definitely a pro about Florida. So talking about the weather, a con is gonna be all the mosquitoes, all the different animals, and all the different bugs that this weather attracts, right? So Florida definitely has a lot of mosquitoes and little gnats that maybe you're walking and you see these little black little flies. They're called gnats. They're very, very small. You may not even see them, so you're walking and then you get them all over you. You know, it's very normal. Just lizards, iguanas everywhere. Some are like this, and then some are just humongous iguanas that you'll be seeing in the trees, maybe outside of your door, maybe inside of your house. You know, lizards get inside the house like all the time. It's very, very common. Unless you're living like in a high-rise building, then of course not. But if you're living in a house, in a townhome, or pretty much anywhere else that's like closer to the ground, then for sure you'll get some of these bugs. And then in different parts of Florida, you have different like larger animals, crocodiles, alligators. In the beach, I don't want to name it, but in the ocean, you know what you have. So there's a lot of different mosquitoes and bugs, and so the weather definitely attracts this. And again, there's a lot of different, a lot of snakes, right? Snakes is not super normal in South Florida, I would say, at least in the areas that I work in, which is closer to the beach areas, right? Because there's a lot more condos. But if you go out west, or if you go out more to the open area, then definitely you're gonna have, you can probably have alligators and crocodiles and some different snakes, and so you just gotta kind of watch out. But that's definitely a con about Florida. A pro about Florida, well, it's starting to fade away, but it wasn't that expensive for being what it is, right? I mean, you have beautiful beaches. Florida is beautiful. There's so much state parks, so much things to do all year round, the weather, everything that I already spoke about. So pretty much for everything that I offer, it's not that expensive, right? When you compare it to other cities and big states in the country, right? Like Seattle, Washington, California, New York, and all of these big areas in Boston. And so really, when you start to compare it, it's not that expensive. However, it's starting to fade away and it is becoming more and more unaffordable. But still, it is a pro for everything that it offers. And from everything that I'm telling you about, all these pros that I'm telling you about, one of the cons is gonna be that there's a lot of new people that are moving down. I believe Florida gets about 800 people that are moving down per day. Every single day have about 800 people moving down. So that is a lot of brand new people that are moving down. Yes, a lot of people are also leaving Florida because it is getting unaffordable. We have tons of people coming down. So that makes it a con, because of course that's gonna make prices continue to go up. It's gonna make everything more expensive and less affordable. And it's gonna, the smaller towns are gonna get crowded, and big cities are gonna get even more crowded. So it is growing a lot in the last few years, and in my opinion, that's a con. Another pro is gonna be the beautiful beaches. So we already spoke about the weather and being outside, but definitely there's a pro. Keep that in mind. There's about 8,000 miles of coastal line. I mean, you know the map of Florida, so you have beaches in the West Coast and the East Coast, in the Keys, everywhere. It's just abundance of beautiful beaches, beautiful weather, and lots of state parks. There's a lot of green. There's tons of state parks, amazing, beautiful, all over the state, right? So in South Florida, the West Coast, and the Central Florida, and North, everywhere you go in Florida, you're gonna have amazing state parks, and with different activities, different things to do, camping, and so many sorts of different outdoor activities that you can do. That's definitely a pro. A con is gonna be the transportation. Compared to other big cities, I think Florida is really bad with this transportation. It is getting better and better each year, especially in South Florida, the Miami area, much better. You have a lot of trolleys. We just got the Bright Line train that goes from downtown Miami to West Palm Beach. It will go to Orlando soon, and hopefully they're gonna connect that to the West Coast of Florida. So hopefully transportation will get better, but it's not like other cities that you have great transportation or abundance of different buses and transportation, and you have trains and subways, right? So transportation here is pretty bad. It is getting better. I mean, it's a really large state, it's really long, so I'm sure it's expensive and not so easy to make this happen. But however, just keep it in mind, transportation does suck down here. A very good pro that I'm sure you already know about is going to be no state income tax, right? What does that mean? That means that, let's just say I have clients that have moved from New York or California or other parts of the country where they had to pay way more taxes, double taxes. Down here, they move to Florida and they stop paying the state tax. There's no state tax, so they could probably keep making the same salary, but they're gonna end up making more money. So they pay less taxes, they end up making more money. So that happens to a lot of people that still could keep their job in other states. However, they're not gonna get taxed because there's no state tax in Florida. So that attracts a lot of people, right? Texas and Florida both. That's why those states are growing a lot. So there's a lot of companies that are moving down. So that's definitely a pro. I have a lot of clients that are, again, have the same salary, but they're making much more money. So now they can afford to live in a much better place, or whatever the case may be for each one, but it's definitely a pro. Another kind of living in Florida is gonna be the tourism. There's about 110 million tourists that pass through Florida each and every single year. 110 million, that is a crazy number. What does that mean? That means we get so much tourism. So definitely is a pro because, the hotel industry, food and beverage industry, and the whole service industry is booming, it's growing, it's great. However, when there's a lot of tourism, it just gets hectic. There's a lot more, maybe trash. There's a lot more just events, a lot more traffic, everything is a lot more expensive, right? So definitely, all the tourism is a pro, but it's also a con, right? Especially in some areas of Florida where it gets really, really crazy when all the tourism comes in, like some parts of Miami, some parts of Orlando, the west coast of Florida. So during the holidays with all this tourism, it does get a little bit wild, it does get a little bit chaotic. Definitely a con in my point of view. But talking about all the tourism, that means that there's a lot of money coming in. There's a lot of income coming in Florida. So it's generating lots of revenue. It's a growing state. The economy is doing great. And what does that mean for you? If you're looking to move to South Florida or to Florida in general, the job market down here is very, very good right now. There's a lot of people that are moving down to seek for different jobs and different opportunities. There's so much going on. I mean, in my point of view, it's such a great place to come and start your business or just whatever it is that you're thinking of doing. I think Florida is a great place. It's a growing state. A lot of people are moving down. Still lots of demand. So I think everything that has to do with employment, with the jobs, I think is a great state to come and work. And the last thing, is another pro, is going to be the sport culture that we have in Florida. We have so much different sports and so much different teams, right? Throughout the whole state, different football teams, there's soccer teams, basketball teams, hockey, the baseball teams, right? There's so much different sports. The Formula One was recently held here in Miami. So there's so much different sports going on, so much different events. That's definitely a pro. I talk about it in all my videos. I love that. So anyway, guys, I really hope this video has helped you understand a few little different pros and cons. Hopefully you haven't heard them, and if you did, amazing. And if you are thinking of moving down to South Florida, don't forget I am a real estate agent down here. I'll be more than happy to help you out. You can reach out at any time, ask me any questions, any concerns. I'll be more than happy to help you and answer them for you. We can even set up a private Zoom call. Anyway, I really hope you get to move to Florida. It will definitely change your life and you will love it. So go for it, don't be scared, and I wish you the best. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.